those who have felt like they're being followed or stalked, was there a time when there actually was a stalker, and it wasn't just your mind messing you up? What happened? I had an ex who I ran into after 13 years. We dated as teens, and it ended after he hurt me really bad, while I was working. After that, I would feel like I was being watched at work. I could just feel it. Then it was the texts from random numbers, phone calls with no one speaking. Eventually, he contacted me on social media, would come to my place of work to see me, and started following me to the bus stop. I finally went to the cops after he found out where I lived. He snuck up behind me on my day off after coming back from the shops and tried to force his way into my house. My neighbor coming home spooked him off. I didn't see him after that, but he still tries to contact me on Facebook from time to time. I was at the corner store pretty late one night and noticed a guy looking at me. I didn't think much of it. He bought his stuff before me, but stopped near the door to look at the magazines on the stand. When I left the store, I realized he left right after me. I thought I was just being paranoid, so I cut through the parking lot next to my building. I looked back, and he was still behind me. I sped up and reached the door, made sure it locked behind me, and ran to the elevator. I went up in the elevator, but pressed the button before my floor and a couple other buttons above my floor. So if he made it into the building, he couldn't tell where I'd gotten off by looking at the display. I got into my apartment, and for some reason decided to look out the peephole to be totally sure that I was safe. A couple of minutes later, the elevator doors opened and the guy got out. I couldn't believe it. He stood looking at my door for a few seconds, and then got back into the elevator. I felt he could hear my heart through the door. I guess he lived in my building and had seen me before or something, and knew what apartment I lived in. I barely slept that night, but I never noticed him again after that. I used to work at an arts and crafts store in my early 20s. There was this guy who would come in and buy supplies often, and would go out of his way to find a way to talk to me. At first it was harmless, and I wasn't worried about it. I would walk everywhere to work, store, home, etc. I started noticing this guy would start showing up in random places on my path home. I started taking several different ways home after this, because I wasn't sure if it was a coincidence. Then after about 3 months, he showed up at my house around 2 a.m. Luckily, my roommates were home and scared him off. He disappeared for a week and then started coming back in the store. I told my manager about him and he banned him from the store. About 3 days after that, he showed up at my house again and banged on my door begging for me to come out and just talk to him. I called the cops, who came to my house and took a report. He ran off. I was so freaked out by this point, I decided to take a trip to visit my mom for a month. When I came back home, my job let me know he had come by a couple of times and left notes and flowers for me. In the meantime at home,